All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the final part of the show, we are going to talk about Bryce Young of the Carolina Panthers. Just some comments that he made about his rookie season. And yeah, it was a rough one for him. And, the Panthers, they did a lot to draft him. They gave up a lot of draft capital. They gave up DJ Moore, to get him. And yeah, it was a rough rookie season. It was. And the Panthers only won 2 games. And one of those games they beat CJ Stroud. Like I know I think I brought this up yesterday. I just still can't wrap my head around the fact that they beat CJ Stroud and the Texans. But that did happen. And Bryce Young is looking to bounce back. And the Texans, they lucked out, getting CJ Stroud, because look at how he is. And, the Texans, they won a division title, and now they got these bigger expectations. So, yeah, it's like the complete opposite over in Houston compared to what it's like in Carolina at the moment. But this is what he had to say. Um, you know, I will actually. So this is a quote from his father talking about his. He said the rookie season was awful. Um, yeah, his father described to ESPN as awful. But yeah, this is what Bryce Young had to say. It's helped me through my whole life. This is because he graduated with a degree in psychology from the University of Alabama, and from that, he talked about how, it's helped me through my whole life. The good, the bad, and different, making sure that myself internally I'm okay. Luckily, I'm very conscious of that my whole life, so I've had a lot of practice compartmentalizing things and trying to have healthy habits. Um, Talked about the offense. It's constructive. If you miss something or do something wrong, it gives you something tangible to say. Let's get our base in order. It's something you could think about and apply. It's been really good for me. And then also you had, Andy Dalton, who's the backup quarterback to Bryce Young. So he said, as my camera's kind of acting up here, so we're just going to have to do a quick little camera fix here. We were doing pretty well, but, it just decides to act up. I'll read the Andy Dalton quote once I fix the camera issue here. Fortunate that I have a backup camera, because if I didn't, you'd be looking at a blank screen. But of course, now when I'm trying to fix it, it doesn't want to work. But that's all right. So okay, yeah, we're all good to go. All right. So anyways, Andy Dalton, backup quarterback for the Panthers now. He said it's instilling confidence in him, knowing that he's giving him the keys to this offense. We're going to see Bryce do things he didn't do last year just because of the experience. We're already seeing it right now. And then Bryce Young, the final quote here in the article that I have: I'm far from perfect. We all have our struggles and things, and we have our good and bad days, but it's like any season. It's important during a time when there's a lot going on and a lot of stressful situations, knowing that's a time to make sure I really don't lose sight of things mentally. So it seems like he is in a better place than he was last year, which, is encouraging. And the Panthers, they did go out and they made moves to try to, improve this team and put Bryce Young in a better situation for him to be successful. They went out and tried to improve this offensive line. They got him weapons. They drafted a receiver. They traded for Deontay Johnson. So they also drafted a running back. So I think Bryce Young will have a better season. And Dave Canales did really well with Baker Mayfield last year. So maybe that will help Bryce Young as well. And yeah, he went through a lot. You had, Frank Reich didn't even make it through the season. It just, the Panther season was a mess. And you kind of want to just throw that out the window. And, if he's better protected, and now you have better weapons in there. I mean, I think he should theoretically have a better season. Now, I don't know how much better, because I still don't look at the Panthers as being a very good football team, but again, they could surprise you. And it's kind of funny because before the season started last year, I just took a look at the NFC South, and I was like, why can't the Panthers win the division? Because the Falcons with their question marks at quarterback, and the Bucks with no more Tom Brady. I didn't know how Baker Mayfield was going to be. I didn't know how the Saints were going to be with Derek Carr. I was like, what, maybe the Panthers, maybe they got a shot, but thankfully I didn't put any money or anything on it. I didn't guarantee anything because the season played out. I was like, wow, the Panthers are just not good. And now we'll see how they are in 2024. And the division, even with some of the changes, like now Kirk Cousins is the quarterback for the Falcons, who we talked about earlier. I mean, this division's not impossible. Anybody can win that division. Now, I don't know how much better the Panthers are going to... I mean, I still had the Panthers winning about 2 games. I just don't think they're going to be very good. But I could be wrong. And they surprise some people. I mean, I think they do open up against the Saints. So maybe they have a better showing than they did last year in New Orleans when they really just, did not play well there. But, well, they didn't play well really all year. So, they did beat the Falcons last year, so they went 1-5 in the division last year. But yeah, it's with Bryce Young, people have their complaints, his size. It's just people are going to have their doubts, and for Bryce Young, yeah, not every rookie season is going to go the way you hope. I mean, you go back to Peyton Manning's rookie season wasn't great, and then look how he turned out. Now, is Bryce Young going to turn out like Peyton Manning? Probably not. But can he go out there and have a better year too? Yeah. And you look at a team, in the other conference, the Titans. Will Levis had a good debut, but it was kind of hit or miss after that. What did the Titans go out and do? They drafted a tackle. They added more weapons to the offense. They are investing in him, and they're seeing if he can actually, be the guy with more talent around him, and that's what the Panthers are doing. Now, I think the Titans' offense is, right now on paper, is probably a little bit better than the Panthers. I like their receiving core better than the Panthers. The running back room, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I know for the Panthers, Miles Sanders was awful last year. That was not a good signing. But, we'll see. I mean, the Panthers and the Titans, they did invest in their young quarterbacks, and we'll see if they improve in year 2. I mean, I want to see... I mean, Will Levis at least had, Bryce Young had some good games too. I know the Packers defense was awful against them. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see though. But yeah, and I think also having a veteran like Andy Dalton to back him up, I think that's good for him as well. A guy that could just kind of help, bring him along, and hopefully he has like I said, hopefully he has a better year too. That's really all we can hope for, is that he does have a better year too. He has a better year, because if he goes out there and he plays bad again, that is not a good look for the Panthers, because they gave up a lot to get him, and like I said before, you see how C.J. Stroud was playing over in Houston. Like, you could have had him. But then again, C.J. Stroud gets drafted by the Panthers. What kind of season does he have last year? I don't know. Only time will tell. But yeah, right now, Panthers, they're hoping they didn't make a mistake. I think they still believe it. They still, well, yeah, I mean, they still believe in Bryce Young. It was kind of a mess because you were changing head coaches. It was a mess. So hopefully the improvements they made, the coaching change, hopefully that all pans out and Bryce Young goes out there and he has a good season and you could throw away that rookie year. But it's going to be hard to forget about it. So, but that's pretty much my thoughts on Bryce Young. Let me know what you guys think about what he had to say. Does he have a bounce back season, or is he not the guy in Carolina? Let me know in the comments. So yeah, that is pretty much it for the show for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to check out all the other shows, like I always say. I did fail to mention that the NBA Finals did conclude. The Celtics won it in 5 games, which even though the Mavericks blew them out in Game 4, we kind of knew that the Celtics were still going to win it. We were hoping for some more drama. Also, the great Willie Mays passed away. Baseball news, some sad news on that front. One of the greatest players of all time. So just wanted to pay a little bit of respect for him. My heart goes out to him, his family. Just a sad day in the baseball community there. So I'm sure Sam will talk about that on his show. And then you got the Stanley Cup, which is, again, I it's hard to transition from something like that and then go into something else. But with the Stanley Cup, the Oilers did win last night, so now it's a 3-2 series. So now they're going back to Edmonton. So yeah, that's gonna be that's gonna be an interesting Game 6. So we'll see if the Oilers can tie the series up when we go to a Game 7. I mean, at least we're getting something out of that championship series because, I mean, the finals was a snooze fest. But, yeah, make sure to check out everybody's shows, get their thoughts on all that stuff. With that, that is all the time that we have for today. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back again tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And until then, I'm Kenneth Grunfelder signing off from the GSMC Football Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Have a good day, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care.